I am echoing
Eerily
somewhere.
similar, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking elves.
Well, I will immediately go to Pyra and exclaim, "You have grown to be such a beautiful young woman. Suni would be proud, darling."
Oh, that's so nice of you. I was just looking at you last night across the campfire, actually. You're so pretty.
Oh, thank you. I do try. May I just point out just one little thing? I mean, of course, I love that scarf, but perhaps it doesn't really go with the whole outfit.
Oh yeah, what would you do instead?
Oh, I would hide it. Yes, I would put it in my backpack and maybe just pick it up. Like in a cave or something. Maybe that would be a great opportunity.
I get what you're saying, but feel this scarf. It's so soft.
Yes, it is. Not so soft on.
She's gonna rub it against your cheek or try to.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. Not the color though. The color is a bit just doesn't work with your complexion. You have such a beautiful complexion. This makes you look a little bit, just a little bit washed out. Trust me. I'm doing this for you. I think you would just blossom if you would just get rid of this.
Do I remember if Callisto has a really good sense of fashion from our youth?
So you probably would remember, and Kane, you can answer that if you would prefer.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, you probably would remember that she was very lively, and she was often very, how do I say?
Judgmental?
Focused on her appearance, and trying to make herself always look presentable, and wasn't really the type that enjoyed being dirty and grimy.
Mm-hmm. Can I bring up that other character that I created in my backstory, or no?
I think you introduced several characters in your backstory.
Well, this is a girl named Galus, and I think if these people were there at the same time, then they would probably know her too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
So you would also know that she used to have a best friend named Galus, and both of them were sort of like, pretty girls, but Galus was definitely the more shallow or the more snobbish of the two, and would generally sort of pull Callisto to her side to kind of be, not necessarily mean girls, but definitely like, cliquey. And Callisto was not necessarily that.
I'm going to say to Carp, I wasn't sure who that was, but I suppose time doesn't change all things, eh?
I suppose. Hello, Ondil.
It's should I say good to see you again? Is it good?
It is. Have you been well?
Well is a word. Is that what's up?
Yes, it has several meanings.
Not entirely sure it applies here, but I'll take it. I've been reasonably well, and yourself?
Good.
Good. That's grammatically incorrect. Glad to hear it though.
Just casting that shade. At third level.
Good banter.
So you spend a moment trying to get Carp engaged in some meaningful conversation, and he does not seem interested. He's not necessarily rude, but he gives you one-word answers that clearly indicate that you should move on.
Okay. He's terse.
Now, we continue along the road, and you arrive at Stagwick. You see the familiar farming village is doing well despite an early winter. There is a light dusting of snow that betrays the earliness of the fall, but the sun is quickly working to warm up the morning. The Jaunt, that is the name of the trade road that runs through Stagwick, is already busy coming into this early afternoon. Travelers, traders, and plenty of other busybodies, late morning would be more accurate, are beginning to navigate the hard-packed earth and they are moving about their business with purpose. Further down the road, Surrounded by harvested fields and with tall mountains and verdant forest to serve as its backdrop, the weary giant stands, with billowing chimneys and the soft laughter of children that are in play. Immediately, coming into the town proper, you all notice several faces making haste to get a good look at you, inspecting you fairly closely. They quickly go from hope and optimism and curiosity to looks of disappointment and worry as the last of you filter through. They seem to have been expecting someone else, or at the very least hoping for them. A woman is walking away with what must be her 2 children, and you can hear one of them beginning to cry, and then soon after the other beginning to pick up in a chorus. A few of these phrases make their way through the crowd. You hear, "They've been gone for so long now. Something happened." The occasional word filters up around you, and "Goblins, maybe worse." A little further into the streets, you see a peddler sitting on a fence. She's in her early 20s, attractive and well-muscled, but wears a simple but clean set of traveling clothes and a mismatched straw hat. There's a younger man there that is tending her wound, a leg wound. He's wrapping fresh bandages around it while there are soiled ones on the ground, and he's chastising her for being so reckless. And she's kind of being dismissive as you all pass by. Now, are you all going straight to the inn, or would any of you like to stop in somewhere first?
Is there a market?
There is. It is busy and bustling. A lot of traders stop here on their way past it, so it gets a lot of traffic.
I just wanted to buy some fruits and some meats for the kids. That's
Okay.
bad.
You can find a very large selection for only a couple gold and stock up the place pretty well.
I will pull. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually going to contribute to that too. I think, money-wise.
You were saying, Callisto.
I will pull Pyra to the side and say, "Ooh, let's check it out. Maybe there's something pretty for you here. Something just to make your outfit pop."
Oh, I was hoping to play for a little while in the square, but I guess we could go do that. Do you think we can come back before dark, though? Do you play anything? I would be so much... Do you dance, Callisto? Do you dance? You would be such a great dancer.
Well, funny you should mention. I have learned a few moves, yes, in my youth, I should say. I haven't had much of a chance lately to put them to use, but absolutely. But maybe I feel like I need to freshen up first. I don't want everyone to be looking at me looking like this.
Oh, you look perfectly beautiful, but I understand. You have to have your best face on for performing.
She's gonna cast a spell and go, "Kaleth Maran," and then immediately her hair starts sort of like glowing and sort of fluttering, and even though there's not really any strong wind, and then after that her outfit seems to be just a little bit more vibrant, and she says, "All right, let's see, what do you have? What do you want to play? Let's see if those boys over there who've been looking at us but did not even talk to us this whole time, maybe now they'll get the courage to come over."
So actually, when you cast that spell, one boy does come over, but you think that he's probably homeless, and he holds his hands out towards you like he's trying to warm himself by a fire. And then he realizes that the light show is just all light, and he looks a little bit dejected, but you can find your way to these other young lads if you would like.
Well, I actually meant Carp and Ondil when I said that, because they didn't really talk to us on the way.
I imagined that differently. Let me shut my whore mouth.
Nope, it's not as innocent as you seem to make it out to be.
That's still fine. By the way, I also want to mention that every time, this is one of the sorcerer's thing, every time I cast a spell, I start just slightly levitating and then float back down. So it's pretty obvious that she casts the spell.
Subtle.
Yeah.
After that happens, Carp will shove the basket into Ondil's hand, and he'll shepherd the man over to whatever public fires they will, and he'll light it for him.
Okay. You can see that there are a handful of braziers that are long empty. They've been set out probably for the winter months when they would be tended to regularly. But there is a small selection of wood that you can kind of set out and get going.
I'll do that.
All right. Anyone else have any business they would like to attend to?
Yep, Pyro is going to look at Callisto. Are you ready? I could drum, or I could play the viol. Not the viola, the viol. But really, drumming is my specialty.
I think I actually would prefer the viol because it would allow me to be a little more. And then she sort of shows off a few moves that are very sensual and not so tribal, let's say.
Twerking.
Ooh.
No.
Twerking invented in Faerun. Check.
We did it.
Okay, so
Right,
Dark Ward's
okay.
plan goes well.
So as she begins giving you this idea of what kind of a dance she has in mind, and it is a little more flamboyant, and also it does have a kind of a suggestive tone to it, you would like to start attaching some music to accompany it. Is that
Could
right?
I actually pull out both my viol and the drum and put the drum on the ground and play it with my tail?
Nice.
So tell you what, I like the idea of that. That sounds cool. Yeah, make a performance check.
Need some elbow tambourines.
And yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm going to give you advantage on this because if I hadn't thought about doing this before, this is probably the first time a lot of these locals have seen something like this. This, one woman drumming, violining, shredding machine.
It's a viol, Tony? Please.
You shred viols, Austin. They have strings.
Yeah, it's a viol. Her bow is just like going back and forth over it. It's practically Devil Went Down to Georgia, but way more sensual. And then there's this kind of low, almost tribal, just to get back a little bit at the comments that Callisto said, but still very sensual drumming in the background.
Okay. And you would like to also dance. Why don't you roll Pyra?
Oh no, Pyra isn't dancing. She's
Sorry. I just confused the names.
The other
Why don't you roll the other ginger?
There are three.
I wouldn't know that she's a ginger. I don't see any portraits.
See, technically,
What is
Pyra's
inverted?
not a ginger.
She's
I'm not a
inverted.
ginger, I'm white hair.
Inverted.
Inverted.
What
Alright.
race is she again? I forgot.
She's a tiefling.
I'd like you to
Oh,
look
tiefling.
at her character token.
Yeah, do you not
Yeah,
see
you
any tokens, Kane?
Oh, now I do. Sorry. Yes.
All right. So,
Do you want a
I want a
performance from me?
performance from you as well, Callisto.
Oh God.
See, all right, I keep doing that. You said it's the I sound, not the Hardy, right?
It's Callisto, the way you said
Callisto.
it.
Okay. All
Sorry,
right.
I think I've been saying it wrong.
So
No.
the two of you begin going into this performance. Now, are the boys here doing anything, or
I left.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was considering soiling Callisto's hair, but no, I'm probably gonna.
but
go
you're
with,
trying to convince people that you did grow up?
I did. Well, that's a good point. But no, as I was contributing to Carp's buy food for the poor people.
Okay.
Oh, not poor people, but orphans.
I mean, a couple gold will buy a lot of food.
yeah.
Like,
Drop 2
multiple
gold.
big sacks worth. So if you both spend it, you can cart several huge bags of,
Yeah.
produce and things like that.
That's the idea.
Now, the two of you begin performing in the square, kind of off to the side because you're not that dick that's going to dance in traffic. But even though you've kind of set yourselves out of the main path, immediately the path curves around you. People are making their way by and they start taking slower, smaller steps so that they can really enjoy the show. And in time, a lot of people begin forming. And how long would you guys like